Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Maverick here with episode 8 of the ReZero Director's Cut, which should be following the TV anime episodes 14 and 15. So, it was actually, I'll be honest, it was actually kind of hard for me to sit down and actually open this and get to watching it because, well, the ending of last episode really didn't, it was hard to watch, right? Hard to stomach, and, you guys ever have that kind of feeling where you just watch something and you're like so disgusted with it and just want to turn it off and have nothing to do with it anymore? I kind of get that feeling here, right? And apparently a lot of you guys feel so as well, judging by some of the comments that have been said on the last episode. Definitely, I think most people do think Subaru was being quite the scumbag there, right? Now, a lot of people also commented on saying how this stems from a sort of heroes or protagonist complex, right? Which, I can totally see, but I actually can't really argue with because I kind of agree with that viewpoint from Subaru's point of view as well, right? My thing with him last episode was more other reasons, but I'm not going to get too much into that because we'll talk about it if we do have the time. In any case, it's kind of funny, right? Because just a few episodes back, or like one or two episodes back actually, we were just praising Subaru for everything that he did, his positivity and whatnot, in saving the village, saving the children, and so on and so forth. And then right after that, we get to this lowest of lows, and we're literally wanting to punch Subaru ourselves, right? So it's like a roller coaster, like shoot, and bam. So, I'm guessing in this episode he is gonna have to do some things to redeem himself. Let's get right into it. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Training, are we? Are you actually training, or are you just venting stress? Oh. So he was taking it out so he wouldn't be ostracized by the rest of the knights, eh? Yeah, gotta do something about it. Oh, alright. Oh! This is, Paradox Paradisium? What was it called again? I mean, I know the song, but, kind of forgot. Paradius Paradoxium? Whatever. Oh yeah, so I guess this is a two-core anime. Hmm. So it's Paradius Paradoxum, right? So, yeah, basically, right? Oof. And who was that Joker-looking guy back then? I guess Roswell on steroids? Alright. I feel like Reinhardt, if you really are looking, I feel like if Reinhardt was actually going to, truly a friend of his though, he'd have to say that was the right thing as well. Anyways, back on the Reinhardt situation a little bit. I feel like the proper thing to do as a friend here would have been to get angry at the situation. Well, I don't know, man. Have you tried to be a little bit more observant of the world? Yeah. Mm, what was happening there? Why are you dressed like this? Okay, I'm liking her already. Die. Okay, that was kind of a cliche line. I can't help but keep looking at that and reading it as Crush Sun. Contract. I wonder who was going to be the one who slapped some sense into Subaru here. Oh, it's the first. Yeah, is this the first time we're seeing Rem outside her maid clothes? I think she's worried about you. You're not helping the situation, Rem. Oh shit. why does... Dangerous as in how? Why? What? Fuck? Or is that Roswell's domain now? Hello? What? Oh? I love how this guy just keeps on going forward. Hmm. Everybody's moved out. You're only now seeing the corpses? What? I mean, I guess we're supposed to be shocked, but Subaru, you are seriously lacking in observation skills. Oh, for chains? I kind of wonder though, would Rem actually, sneak out and go back on her own if Subaru hadn't asked to return? It's I'm not quite sure what the anime is trying to say in this situation, though, because obviously, if he doesn't do anything at all as well, the same thing is going to happen, right? So, what exactly is the moral of the story here? That's quite intriguing. Oh, why would it be your fault? Well, I guess having a hero's complex would also mean you think everything is your own fault? I mean, yeah. Like I said, this guy has the observation skill of like, what? Wait, where's? Wait, when is this? This is. I guess it's just the night before you received news. The attack. Uh, wow. All right. You know, I guess I wasn't because I was just trying to pay attention. But for a second there, I actually thought he returned all the way back to like the very beginning. Hmm. Good. I'm still really confused as to why his reset point is set there instead. Does that old man have like a special role in this story? All right. Oh shit. Whew. Damn. Oh. Okay, so is Rim gonna die in front of Suero? Which cultist? Oh, I guess they're thinking that. I guess they're actually that's why they bowed earlier to Subaru because they think he's one of them, right? With the witches because he has the witches sent on him. I see. Right? Oh, is this the Joker dude we saw? The opening? Sendar. Sloth. Bonnie Conti. That's like a name of a wine. Okay, who's the voice actor for this guy? Nice flexibility, dude. Unknown. That probably means she's still alive, of course. So do you want to be slothful or not, dude? Make up your mind. Alright, you mentioned Subaru being pride, eh? But, huh. That kind of doesn't make sense though. Which represents envy, right? So envy is one of the seven sins, but this guy is representing sloth? And then he's saying Subaru represents pride? That's... Wow. It's Rim, probably. Damn. You know, I just realized right now that what Rim is to Subaru is basically what Subaru is to Emilia, isn't it? In a way. Yeah, saw that coming. shit. Fingers. Just a bystander. Damn. Oh, holy shit. I haven't seen a death scene this impactful in such a long time now. Damn. She's still alive? Holy shit. I guess that's the demon's healing power. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh. Going back to town. Going back to mansion. Confirming everything once again. And then dying, right? What the hell are You. Along with my daughter? Wow. Wow. This was an epic episode. Oh my god. I don't. I mean, I don't expect there to be anything from here on, but still. I think this is one of those scenes where I just have to let it play out. Just as a show of respect to this episode. Wow. Alright, back here. Going to. Smell the witch. Ah. Alright, let's go in for Subaru's mind. Damn. What can I say? What more can I say, right? That entire ending scene was absolutely epic. I don't even know what other words to describe it with. Like, that has to be one of the top scenes in my mind that I've ever watched in anime. It sounds like kind of hyperbole and whatnot, but really, I truly love that entire sequence there, right? And I almost no, not almost. I actually do wish that it ended right there with Subaru freezing to death, and then with the credits rolling and the I guess some sort of ending song, ending theme that they had, background music. I feel like that to me, and then just the credits rolling, and then just completely white out. That would be even more epic than what was shown here, where they do go carry on the story a little bit, and we see Subaru being well, I guess not being reborn, but redoing it, right? Resetting the situation here. So, I mean, like, what can I say about this, right? Like, starting from the disturbingly mad Betelgeuse, who apparently is being voiced by Matsuoka, right? Sugusugu. That was an absolute stellar performance. I feel like he captured that villain perfectly, right? That was how everybody gives praise to Heath Ledger's performance for the Joker in The Dark Knight and all of that. That's what I was feeling back there as well, with the sort of transition between sort of talking in an ominous, dark way and whatnot, and then acting all crazy and being all mad and whatnot, and then simultaneously being frightening and then also a clown at the same time. That was great, right? So first the character introduction of him, how they stylized him, his dialogue, his actions, that fit perfectly. And then we also have Rim arriving on the scene, right? Where or Betelgeuse is holding Subaru hostage. We got Rim, the heroic entrance. We know that she's going to come, and then she's going to at least attempt to whoop everyone's ass, right? And then, of course, Rim's dying scene. Now, to be honest, I completely expected that, especially in this case where we know that Subaru has an ability like redoing. I thought it seemed quite obvious that she was going to die there, but even then, I feel like this is important. Even though I already knew that she was going to die there, it actually turned out to be way more vivid and way more disturbing than I anticipated. So that's another huge plus for the anime and how they did it, right? Because even though the audience, I'm sure like I'm not the only one who knew that Rem was probably gonna die there, right? But even with the audience knowing that, it still manages to make a scene very disturbing and in a way that you still feel it yourself. That death scene, yeah, that death scene was great. I know it sounds twisted in a way. We're literally seeing her being mutilated and whatnot, but that just drives up the epicness of the entire sequence of events as well, right? And then of course we got Subaru's breakdown. We have him basically getting all hysterical and whatnot. That was great as well. And then we see Rem pulling herself over to Subaru with her mangled body, and then using the rest of her strength to set him free, and also to confess to him, right? Like, oh man, I'm just, even, what can I say here? Like, I keep on saying, the brilliance of this series and the way that they're doing things is that even though you know that Subaru has this ability to reset everything, you still are affected by the things that happen through the characters. Even though, we know that Rim is going to be able to, we know that she's going to be able to be revived again, and everything's going to reset, and then as if that all that never happened, but we still see what could have been, what her decision would have been to in that situation, right? And it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. I totally get why there are so many people on Team Rim now. I'm not saying that I'm taking any sides yet. I think it's far too early for that, but I can definitely see why Rim would be very, very popular among people, right? Because that scene was just great. Great. And then, of course, ending it all with Subaru carrying Rim all the way back to the mansion, only to be frozen to death. That's, like I said, I really don't have anything else to add to that. I just want to express like how much I love that entire sequence of events all the way till the end there, right? I mean, top scene for sure in anime. And really, like I said, the only thing that I think would make it even better would be to just roll the credits, turn it all white, and then end it right there. All right. Especially if that was a standalone episode, I think that in TV anime would be episode 15, right? And can you imagine just ending there, and then that's it for this week, and then you gotta wait another week until to see what's gonna happen next. Like, oh man, that would be so damn awesome. So yeah. Anyways, I don't want to. I spent already 5 minutes like just praising that entire scene, that entire sequence of events. But that I really want to express how much I really love that. Okay, so let's actually talk about the episode a little bit, right? Because that's what we do here. That's what I do here. So there are a few interesting things being said and being developed in this episode as well. At the very end there, with the voice saying, take sleep with, go to sleep alongside my daughter, right? Now, I can only presume that to actually be the voice of the witch, and then for, in that sense, perhaps Emilia is the witch's daughter, right? Perhaps figuratively, perhaps literally. It would make sense considering that the witch looks very much like Emilia. You have to, I think it's obvious that there is a connection somehow between the witch and Emilia. It's just the question is what, right? Maybe a fragment of the witch or something like that. Maybe it is actually the witch's daughter or something like that. Don't know. But I think that much is obvious, right? And then we also get a little bit into the different sins, right? The 7 original sins or whatnot. The 7 prime evils or whatever you want to call it. You got envy, right? We've always had envy here, and then now we're introduced to sloth, and then according to Betelgeuse, apparently Subaru is supposed to represent pride as well, which is quite fitting, I think. Now, I was actually thinking about this in the past few episodes. Considering that there is a Witch of the Envy, you gotta wonder where all the others are as well, right? Like being gluttonous, being prideful, being slothful. What else is there? Um, Adultery, right? Something like that. Carnal desires, things like that. You just have a feeling that since there's an envy, there should be others as well, right? Now, the only problem that I have with this theory right now is that typically we always consider pride to be the foremost of these sins, right? But in this case, it seems like the witch, who is representing envy, is actually the one calling the shots. So I don't know if that's just something specific to this work, and they just decide they want envy to be the strongest and whatnot. Considering that these are witch cultists, right? And at least Betelgeuse is, but he's also saying that he represents sloth as well. So like I'm not really sure if that's actually supposed to be a thing where there is like this one character who was representing one of the sins or something like that. But if that were the case, then they're sort of mixing up a little bit and allowing envy to be the top one here. And then also an interesting idea here is whether or not the witch is actually aware of Subaru's abilities, right? And is she actually using that to her advantage to sort of progress her own her own goals as well? You'd think that would be kind of counterintuitive, right? But I'm just saying, what if it's possible that, for instance, both times that Subaru died in this episode, right, upon reaching the mansion, whilst he was in that sort of secret chamber and whatnot, freezing to death, we also hear a voice saying that you're too slow. And then at the very end here, with him in front of the mansion and being caught in a blizzard and all that, we also see the whoever that person is, I'm assuming it's the witch, commenting on the fact that in essence, it's also saying that he's too late, right? So I don't know. Perhaps that's a way for the witch to also sort of align Subaru along and say, look, dude, you did the wrong thing. Let's go back, reset it, and try again, right? I mean, it's hard to say considering we don't exactly know, right? But I think there's a very big probability that Subaru coming to this world, being isekai here, as well as his ability, return by death, reset, whatever you want to call it, has something to do with the witch, right? So it would make sense that the witch would be aware of Subaru's abilities, and if she was aware of Subaru's abilities, then she would obviously want to utilize it to some degree, right? So that's one thing to keep a note on as well. And the reset, well, certainly I don't think we're quite sure how the reset mechanism works yet. I don't think there's any particular tell as of right now as to where or when the save point, if you will, is updated into a new save point. But yeah, whatever. That's irrelevant right now. And speaking of Subaru, in this episode, particularly in the first half, we can definitely see that Subaru is still quite out of it, right? He still hasn't really gotten things completely to his. He really hasn't learned anything, right? He hasn't learned his lesson yet. He's still being a very assholey and very punchable, might I add, Subaru here. I think especially with this episode sort of hinting that Subaru is representing pride right now, and as well as his conversation with Emilia at the last episode, as well as all the events that transpired in this episode, I think it's quite clear now what Subaru should be doing, right? If he's truly trying to do something that Emilia wants, and not just trying to do things for the sake of allowing himself to be the hero of the story, then I think it's quite obvious that he needs to make allies and not enemies out of all the people, right? Emilia, she is alone here. I think Subaru arrived at that conclusion pretty accurately. Now the only difference is how he is approaching this situation is completely in the opposite direction, right? He's like, okay, even if the world turns against you, I will stand by you. Sure, that seems romantic and all, but that's not what she really needs, right? That's just fulfilling Subaru's own romantic desires. What she really needs is for Subaru to swallow his pride and actually find a way to get all the other people, whether it's the other royalty, the other nobility, whether it's the knights, whether it's the common folk, and get them to stand behind Emilia, right? So I think it's quite clear now what Subaru's lesson should be and what he needs to strive going forward. Now the question is, when exactly is Subaru going to learn that, right? Hard to say. Hard to say. And I think it's even made even more obvious when we consider the situation and when we consider the predicament that Subaru and Rim are in right now, right? So obviously, they have to do something about the situation, about this attack on the mansion, about the attack on Roswell's domain. It's definitely not going to be a case where they can just listen to Emilia and stay put in the capital. That's not going to work. They're all going to die. So they need to do something about it, right? However, it's through these two iterations, we already know that if they actually just take the carriage there, it's going to be too late. 2.5 days is too late. They need to speed it up, right? Now, in this episode, it was already hinted that a way to speed things up would be to go through the fog, and apparently the fog is created by the White Well or whether or not Rem says it's dangerous, but I think that's really the only solution here. They need to go through that fog and get right back to the mansion before all that happens, before the battle, and that's how the situation is going to be saved, right? Now, in order to do that, and also to actually save the mansion, because hey, even if it's just Rim and Subaru, what exactly can they do, right? It's quite obvious that the enemy is very, very strong, and they're gonna need more firepower. So, for both to actually satisfy both those conditions, they're gonna have to bring in reinforcements. Now, Wilhelm seems to be a very obvious choice, especially since during the scene where they were talking about the fog, about the White Well, Wilhelm sort of had a gleam to his eye. He obviously has some thoughts on this matter, so I'm assuming that in other words, Subaru is going to have to find a way to convince them to come along and help them out and help defend Emilia and the others, right? Now, Wilhelm is one. If we are actually going through this entire swallow your pride and make friends, not enemies kind of thing, I would actually also be expecting Julius and Reinhardt and perhaps even Ferris and the others going along as well, and all meeting up at Roswell's mansion in his domain and fending off the cultist attacks together, right? So I think that's what he's going to be doing, and I think that's the only solution to this problem that we have right now, because otherwise, like I said, even if they do find a way to get back themselves, Rem and Subaru, nothing's gonna change. They can't. Even Rem was completely overwhelmed by the cultists, not to say anything of Subaru, who is, quite frankly, useless in the fighting front, right? So he's got to contribute in some other ways. But yeah, anyways, that was way too long of a discussion portion here. But I guess I really wanted to spend some time just expressing how much I love the ending to this particular episode. Anyways, that's it for now. I will be continuing to chug along as well. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned, and bye-bye.